So here comes our first crew working their way in on approach on the dock. They do got the engine trimmed up just a little bit. Sometimes that makes it a little harder to control as they approach. But as you can see the flag in the background, it's not a crazy windy day. The current's pulling just a little bit. You can see that working on the bottom, but let's see how Kat does as she works in on approach. And she's gonna brake check out, kicking the stern around, got her friend up in the bow, and now we're gonna start to back out on it. So back into forward gear, but we do got a friend with a line on the ready. And she's ready to bounce, but she's got to be careful because Kat kind of been a little all over the place with the throttle. There we go, the easy step off. And trying to push the boat, but Kat's got the boat back in reverse. Tug of war, here we go. And they're gonna let her win as she goes back into forward gear and heads toward the dock. But welcome back, crew, to the greatest show on earth, and that is the Miami Boat Ramps channel. I'm your host, Broncos Guru, and today we are down here visiting Boynton Beach, and it looks like our first crew, after a little bit of effort, is gonna wind up getting on the dock. And here comes our next crew in on approach, and things have turned a little bit down here today. As you look in the background, you can see that flag's kind of whipping now, which means that current and wind is going a little bit, and the boat's gonna have to be a little more careful. Like this crew here, they're about to battle both as they try and go for the starboard side dock. So we got somebody on the line on the ready on the starboard side, but now we're drifting off the dock toward the other boat on the other side, and at least they're prepared. There's people on each side of the boat, one ready to push off this other boat, another one wet with a line, but I don't think we're getting onto that dock. So kind of get the push off. Now they're about to hit up at the bow. Now everybody's pretty much over here pushing off. Cap's gonna have to back out on this one. So Cat backs it out. Now I'm curious to see what he's going to do. Is he going to try this one more time? Or is he going to switch dock locations? So he's backing up. Got to be careful. There's another boat sneaking in behind him now. So Cap's back in forward gear for a second and then quickly backs out of it. And now, yes, it looks like Cap's going to try switching docks, which is probably a good call. As down here, he's got the opportunity for a port side dock if he'd like. Which means he's just got to get it lined up enough to let the wind kind of push him in and do its thing. So coming in on approach, he's got it lined up by the dock now. They've got a pretty good distance off, which is good. Let the boat slowly roll in. Grab some lines, and our guy looks like he wants to jump off, but the boat's just not quite getting there. They go for the lean, get the grab, and there we go. Finally somebody's off with a line on the dock, and I didn't even catch it. We had some guy, a good Samaritan, come up and push them over on the bow. And we've got another floater. Now, it's not uncommon that we see floaters down here at Boynton, but typically it's jet skis. This one's a boat. They launched. Our guy, I guess, just did not tie it up well enough as he went to go pull the trailer away, and it has floated off the dock. I'm curious to see how they're going to get this one back. As of right now, there's no real action or attempt by anybody to try and grab this thing. So it's continuing to drift. The real problem with this is it's actually drifting toward the rocks and actually the mouth of the exit of the boat ramp. For those who aren't necessarily familiar with Boynton down here, there's a small channel that you have to come into to get into the boat ramp, and the boat ramp's actually in a very secured spot, with rock walls kind of around the whole thing outside of that little small entrance that where you come in, which makes it an amazing spot to launch and retrieve boats. But the problem would be, I guess, right here is if the current grabs and starts to pull out the mouth, it's going to start working its way toward Boynton Inlet. And you can tell as it's getting closer to the mouth, the pace that it's moving is absolutely picking up. So there's a guy standing on the end of this dock that kind of threw his hands up in the air like I think he thought he was going to do something with it. But here we go. She's just rolling away. And there's still not a whole lot of action on this one where nobody's really trying to get it. I mean, I guess we could go out there and grab it. The real problem is we have no ability to get it back over to the dock. If we swim out there, the current and the wind, as you can see, is pulling it out. We'd be fighting that, and I don't think there's any way we could get this back to the dock without a little help from some power of another vessel. So I see somebody over here on the dock now. It looks like it's their boat. And here we go. I think we're going to try and get somebody. They're going to get an attempt to try and save this thing. Hopefully before we can get out here, before it gets to the rocks. It is getting so close, though. And they got it right on the jet ski. As he says, thank you to the guy on the jet ski, and there we go, he's in the boat. I mean, maybe this was an efficiency way of launching. He didn't have to tie up a dock the whole time. I mean, nothing bad really happened, I guess. I mean, it got close as they were getting closer to the rocks over there on the other side. But now, I mean, he's just got to bring it back to the dock. And, I mean, I guess in theory, somebody could have used his dock now if they needed to. But all appears to be well. He's got his line. He's got his boat. But, man, that is just a wild one. Whatever you guys do when you're down here docking, man, just make sure you have your lines. Make sure everything's secure before you step away from the dock. The funny part to me on this one is it happens so much more often than you would possibly think, where we have these vessels just wind up floating and drifting away because they weren't securely tied. And our crew's coming in. Looks like they're going to go for a starboard side dock on the dock in front of us. And Cap's gonna slide right past it as the brake check. And quickly decides, yeah, we're gonna skip that dock. Let's try the other one. And here they go, in on approach. And he's got it lined up. They're going to let the wind just drag them in. And there we go. And they're getting out of here. And speaking of getting out of here, we're getting out of here as well. Thanks for watching, crew. Hope you enjoyed this episode of Miami Boat Ramps. If you did, please check out our other content. We have Wavy Boats, who does a bunch of great things down at the inlets. My channel, Broncos Guru, does some great comedy boating videos there as well. And of course, we got Boats vs. Haulover, where man and machine take on Mother Nature down at Haulover Inlet. And if you guys haven't already, go ahead and drop an anchor on the subscribe button here.